right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Hard to Kill, 1990. I'm giving this one 3 out of 5 stars. This is going to be another Karate Man recommendation. I'm a big fan of Steven Seagal. Well, he's got some funny one-liners at the end. You killed my wife, you die. I kill all of them. And there's a corrupt he's got weird Egyptian architecture. I wonder if he belongs to Temple of Set. Michael A. Aquino. My parochial vicar asked me if my son was exposed to Devo as a baby. And I told him I used to call my son Boogie Boy when he was a baby. Then I sent him some Devo lyrics about spuds and potatoes. Oh, too much fun. Too much fun. The movie poster looks cool. He's LA detective Mason Storm. Steven Seagal in Hard to Kill. That's a cool movie poster. I would like that on my wall back here to show everybody when I'm doing movie reviews. I want the White Warrior Hard to Kill seconds. Maybe the Tor Johnson movie poster. What was that movie? I can't even remember, but I have seen and reviewed it before. All right. Hard to Kill is a 1990 U.S. vigilante action thriller film directed by Bruce Malmuth, written by Stephen McKay and starring Steven Seagal, Kelly LeBrock, William Sadler, and Frederick Coffin. Seagal's second film after Above the Law, which I did not like. He portrays Mason Storm, a detective who falls into a coma after being shot during a home invasion that killed his wife. How could he be in a coma for 7 years and he still got the same physique without the belly like he does now? He should have grown a belly like he has now over those 7 years, right? No exercise, sleeping in bed for 7 years. Reawakening 7 years later, Storm embarks on a journey to avenge the death of his wife and expose the corruption of Senator Vernon Trent, the man who ordered the murder of his family. The film was released by Warner Brothers on February 9th, 1990, and it grossed a whopping $75 million worldwide. Very popular lamestream film from Steven Seagal, 1990. Back when he could make movie hits. Now he just makes movie shits. Or he doesn't make any movies at all. He hasn't actually made a movie since 2017. I take it back. But I've got to see his worst movie of all time. Forget this lamestream stuff. I want to see it. Steven Seagal's top 10 worst movies. I want to see Attack Force from 2006. Why doesn't Karate Man ever mention Attack Force? Come on now. We want to see the low-rated IMDb Steven Seagal movies, not the high-rated ones. Okay. In 1983, LAPD Internal Affairs Detective Mason Storm investigates a mob meeting that takes place by a pier. He records a shadowy figure who assures the mob that they can rely on his political support. Mason is spotted, but Mason escapes, unaware that Mason is monitored by corrupt cops. Mason informs his partner Becker and his friend Lieutenant O'Malley that he has evidence of corruption. Oh, he's on the run. Then he decides to go home and make a dry hump on his wife while his son is sleeping. Mason hides the videotape in his house. When he goes upstairs, a hit squad composed of corrupt policemen, including Jack Axel and Max Quintero, break in, and they proceed to murder Mason's wife and shoot him. Mason's young son, Sonny, escapes out the window. The production company is Lee Rich Productions, distributed by Warner Brothers, release date February 9th, 1990, running time 95 minutes, country United States, language English, budget $11.5 million, and box office $75 million. You could say that this was a box office hit. The corrupt policemen, we like police corruption on this channel. They frame Mason, making it look like a murder-suicide. At the same time, assassins kill Mason's partner. Later at the hospital, Mason is first pronounced dead, but is then discovered to be alive, although in a coma. So this is like Terry Schiavo. They can't figure out if he's dead or alive, or a vegetable, or what's going on. Nobody knows. Until he wakes up 7 years later. To prevent the assassins from finishing the job, Lieutenant O'Malley tells the medics to keep Mason's status a secret. 7 years later, Mason wakes from his coma. his new white girlfriend, he starts getting a hard-on. After 7 years. The white nurse is giving him a hard-on for the first time in 7 years. Andy Stewart, one of his nurses, makes a phone call, which is intercepted by corrupt police officers. They send Axel to finish the job, and Axel kills the nurses to whom Mason might have talked. Mason realizes that he is still in danger, but his muscles have atrophied to where he can barely move. Okay. Well, he still looks like he has big muscles on that gurney. He manages to get to an elevator, and when Andy sees her co-workers killed, she helps Mason escape. Needing time to recuperate, Andy takes Mason to a friend's house, which looks like some kind of Chinese artwork going on, where Mason uses his knowledge of acupuncture, moxibustion, and other meditation techniques to recover his strength. He makes a grocery list at the Chinese grocery store to concoct some kind of magical potion. While training, Mason hears a commercial for Senator Vernon Trent, and Mason recognizes the voice from the pier. Oh, he finally figured it out after 7 years in a coma. Mason contacts O'Malley, who supplies him with weapons. O'Malley tells him that his son is still alive. O'Malley adopted Sonny, and O'Malley sent him to a private school so that he would be out of danger. Wasn't that nice of O'Malley? He took a two-thirds pension to take care of Steven Seagal's son. Mason arranges to meet O'Malley and his now teenage son at a train station later. After O'Malley leaves, Senator Trent's men find the house and attempt to kill Andy and Mason, but they both manage to escape. And this is where we see the renegade actor Brandscome Richmond as Detective Max Quintero. He's the corrupt police officer jumping over fences, hurting his back. Posing as a real estate agent, Mason recovers the hidden videotape from his old house. O'Malley and Sonny arrive at the train station, but they are confronted by some of Senator's men. Sonny flees with the tape. O'Malley is killed. When Mason arrives, he sees Sonny running away from Quintero and Nolan. Mason catches up with the men, and Mason subdues Nolan by breaking his leg and throwing him in the trash bin. He then beats up Quintero, and he starts having flashbacks again, recognizing him as one of the men who took part in the assault on Mason's home. Mason proceeds to snap Quintero's neck. Snap your fingers, snap your neck, killing him. After a brief reunion with the son, Mason goes after Senator Trent. Yeah, I just killed a corrupt police officer. Now I'll go hug my son. As a reward, Mason sneaks into the senator's mansion. Mason manages to eliminate his men one by one. Mason fights with Axel in the billiard room, and Mason avenges his wife by jamming a broken pool cue into Axel's neck, killing him. Next, Mason leaves a death taunt to Captain Hullard, another corrupt cop who betrayed Mason to Trent, and Mason stalks Hullard through the house before cornering the corrupt captain near the fireplace. Mason then strangles Hullard with his necktie. Mason breaks his neck, killing him as well. Snap your fingers, snap your neck. Mason finally confronts Senator Trent. Mason holds him at gunpoint. He's shoving a sawed-off shotgun into his mouth and breaking his teeth in the process. When the police storm the mansion, however, they reveal that they have already seen the film and they knew that Mason was set up. So Steven Seagal is breaking and entering, assaulting the senator, killing all of his men, and they say, "Oh, we realized that you were set up 7 years after the fact." Trent is arrested. Oh, I just spoiled the ending. Sorry, I went too far. Hard to Kill debuted at #1 at the U.S. box office with an opening weekend of an astounding gross of $9.2 million in 1990 money, the biggest three-day February opening at the time. It eventually grossed $48 million in the United States and Canada and $75 million worldwide. Can you say lame stream? I can. Karate Man can't. It holds a 33% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on 15 reviews. The average rating is 4.1 out of 10. Very low, very low. I'm rating it 6 out of 10. Audiences polled by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of A minus on an A plus to F scale. That's kind of high. That's like a 9 out of 10. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly rated it a letter grade of D minus and called Seagal as generic an actor as the film. Well, we know that. He goes to the Jean-Claude Van Damme School of Acting. That's why we like Seagal. That's why we want to see his 2006 movie, not his 1990 movie. Because it's even worse in 2006. They're overdubbing his lines. In describing the film as a lively one for its genre, Janet Maslin of the New York Times wrote, Mr. Seagal is effective for both his novelty value and his ability to be literally and figuratively disarming. All right, so this gets a reasonably high 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Unlike the other movie that I mentioned, which was, bear with me here, Attack Force from 2006 gets a very low 2.7 out of 10. So you see how Steven Seagal's movie career dipped very fast compared to, say, Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger. Come on. Oh boy. This is a problem. See, when I click on IMDb, I can't scroll down. Oh, there we go. Reload solved the trick. All right, Hard to Kill, 1990, rated R, 1 hour, 36 minutes, 5.8 out of 10 on IMDb, whopping 33,000 ratings. Not say this is obscure or underrated. You can't say that. I'm giving it an even higher 6 out of 10. But my rating is very close to the average here. So I'm not making this stuff up, okay? There's a consensus. Targeted, and that goes for the previous movie I just watched too. Targeted by the mob and its political supporters, hired assassins leave LAPD. Detective Mason Storm for dead. 7 years later, he recovers from a deep coma, demanding justice and the opportunity to get even. Yeah, of course. He'll never forgive his killers like Christ did, tortured and murdered by an angry mob. He won't forgive them. He's going after them 7 years later. Okay, here's a similar review from Lost in Limbo. Lost in Limbo also gives it a 6 out of 10. Looks like he won the Oscar Tonight Stone is the title of the movie review on IMDb. Well, maybe not. It's being slow again. Oh, there it goes. Lost in Limbo's review of Hard to Kill. Thanks for sticking with me all this time. Nobody's in the chat room. Karate Man, Terra Incognito. All right, so here's the Lost in Limbo review of Hard to Kill on IMDb, dated February 19th, 2011. Steven Seagal is a hard man to kill, especially when he's out to stop corruption. Watch out, thugs and government officials. Oh, we know how corrupt they are. Yeah, we do. They're all corrupt. Look at the senator in his hot tub with his naked girlfriend. They're about ready to go to the opera or the ballet or something. As Seagal hands out plenty of broken arms, but before getting warmed up, although he does encounter some thugs in a shop outlet, he's gunned down in his home with his family murdered. After being comatose for 7 years, he awakes and now he's out to settle the score. All the best moments come when Seagal is lying flat in the bed, doing nothing, and everything after that is a bonus. Where can you get a comatose Seagal with long, stringy hair, a fuzzy beard, Kelly Labrock asking if he wants a little pussy, and then putting a little kitten by his head? Need some pussy. Meow. That's like an old Devo joke. Pink Pussycat. Oh, there are some priceless dialogues also. Seagal's usual philosophical banter. Yeah, this is the other highlight. Before exacting revenge, he's targeted but escapes from the hospital while still lying in his bed. On the run, he recovers with LeBrock in a secluded house that she's house sitting. Now we go through the motion, Seagal's motions, healing physically and mentally that the Buddha way, being stoically humorous, running up hills, breaking wooden planks, and thinking of the past. Then he gets a little bored, decked back in black leather jacket, tight jeans, and sporting the slick ponytail. But he doesn't have to go to them as they come to him. His almighty senses come to light. You know that sixth sense. And formulaic tout action erupts. Simple-minded revenge, brutal, scorching, and explosive. Don't think about it, ridiculously plotted. Just enjoy it. It's a tough, unpleasant barrage of set pieces, and we know how Seagal enjoys playing fair. The bad guys are your typical swarmy lot, and cop a beating, a painful beating. I'm going to take you to the bank, the blood bank. Oh, those are great lines from Seagal. The reason to watch is the Seagal philosophical band and the police corruption, the Brandscome Richmond character is another reason to watch. Of course, Seagal's girlfriend doesn't get naked, and neither does his wife. I think the only nude scene is maybe a quick 1 second flash of the corrupt senator's hot tub girlfriend. She's flashing her boobie for 1 second. You have to hit the pause button to actually see her nipple, probably. All right. More like this, Above the Law. Another crappy Seagal film. Out for Justice, Marked for Death, and The Glimmer Man. Do I have any of these on my list? I know I reviewed Above the Law. Probably got vaporized on Yahoo, though. I didn't like Out Above the Law. Out for Justice. I think I already reviewed that one, if I'm not mistaken. That's the one that I don't remember. And I actually accidentally rented it twice. Marked for Death is number 5 on my list. The Glimmer Man is number 323 on my list. So I still have 2 more Seagal movies to get through, plus the other one that I mentioned. I keep mentioning it, but I can't remember the name of it. The 2006 movie I've got on my list. And it is called Attack Force. Now I remember. Can't wait to see Attack Force. All right. Steven Seagal and Kelly LeBrock were married at the time this movie was made. No wonder he woke up from a 7-year coma. His dingling was hard. Mason isn't filmed at all when Senator Trent steps into the light. He's instead trying to adjust the camera. The senator shouldn't be on tape, therefore. Quotes from Senator Vernon Trent. You can't take that to the bank. Mason Storm replies, I'm going to take you to the bank, Senator Trent, to the blood bank. The Australian free-to-air version was edited for television with some violent scenes and F-words edited to meet the standards for an M classification to be screened at 8:30 a.m. Later broadcasts relaxed their standards with some screenings late classified AV or AV 15 plus. This is featured in Siskel and Ebert, Mountains of the Moon, Where the Heart Is, Revenge, Hard to Kill, and Madhouse. Soundtracks Feel So Good, written and performed by Chuck Mangione, courtesy of A&M Records. Release date February 9th, 1990. Country of origin, United States. Languages, English and Japanese, also known as 7-Year Storm. Filming location, Saddle Rock Ranch, 32111 Mulholland Highway, Malibu, California, USA. Production companies, Warner Brothers, Lee Rich Productions, Adelson, Todman, Simon Productions. Budget, $11.5 million estimate. Opening weekend, U.S. and Canada, $9.213.631 million. On the weekend of February 11th, 1990, gross U.S. and Canada, $47.410,827 million. And the same gross worldwide. So there was no international presence outside of Canada on this one. Runtime, 1 hour, 36 minutes. Color, Aspect ratio 1.85 to 1. And there's your Hard to Kill review. Sorry, I'm not a huge fan of Steven Seagal. I can't remember a great movie that he was in. All of them kind of stunk. Which is why I want to see the 2006 Attack Force. We want the so bad that it's good type films. And this one has some of that element, but it's not a terrible film. It does have its funny moments, such as the Steven Seagal one-liners, the the political and police corruption is quite amusing. So let's go down the pikes, shall we? Mr. and Mrs. Smith, first up, 1941. Second on the list is Free, A Journey into the Inner Self, 2023. Then number 3 is Captain Kidd, 1945. And those are the next 3 on my list. Cool. Well, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of Hard to Kill in the comments. Is it one of the better Steven Seagal ones? I think it is, but that's not saying much. Are you a huge Steven Seagal fan? Do you rate all of them 10 out of 10 like Karate Man? Or at least the early ones from 1990? Do you rate those 10 out of 10? Let me know. I'm here to respond if you think I should watch more Steven Seagal. Please post a comment. Let me know which ones you recommend, especially if they're after his early 90s stuff. Laters.